In today's video, we're talking about vignetting. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about vignettes and specifically how to get rid of, how to control, or even how to add a vignette onto a photograph when you need to lead the viewer's eye onto a particular part of the image. Now, in order to understand why vignetting occurs, we need to understand some of the basics. The sensor inside of your camera is rectangular, but the lens that you put in front of that sensor is round. And there lies the problem. It's the mismatch of these two shapes that is the primary cause of vignetting. Let's illustrate this so that you can better understand what I'm talking about. This rectangle here represents the sensor in your camera. And this circle represents the image that has been projected by the lens onto the sensor. This circle of light that has been projected onto the sensor needs to be large enough to cover the entire sensor. If it is not large enough, where it's going to be apparent is in the corners, and that's where you're going to get vignetting. One of the main reasons in why you may be getting blockage on the corners causing a vignette is by using filters. When you screw on a filter at the front of your lens, what you're actually doing is extending the barrel of the lens. Even if it's only a few millimeters, these lenses are so precise that that can actually make a difference. What it means is that the sensor itself can see the edges of the filter and thereby resulting in vignetting. Other reasons can be lens hoods or just imperfections in lenses that occur as part of the manufacturing process. Now, luckily, vignetting is really simple to fix. I'm going to show you how to do this in Lightroom, but you can pretty much do this with any photo editing app. They all have some sort of function to be able to control or remove vignetting. And here we are inside of Lightroom. And what I'm going to show you is a couple of different things. So I've got a few images to show you the difference that a vignette can make. And then you can make a decision as to whether you want to remove it or you want to add one in there to try to enhance the photograph. So I've got a photo in here, and this has a vignette. I mean, maybe you can't tell that it has one, but you're going to be able to see it in a second. The best way to correct these vignettes properly within Lightroom is very, very simple, luckily. If you go to the develop module, once you've selected your image, where the tools are on the right hand side, if you go down to and scroll down to the lens correction module, you're gonna notice that there are two little checkboxes. And if you click on the second one, and just as I click this, I want you to have a look at the top right hand corner where the sky is there. When I click on it, you're going to notice that it gets brighter. Okay, so this is Lightroom automatically correcting for and compensating for that loss of light that creates the vignette. Now, Lightroom has a whole bunch of different profiles. In this particular case, it always gets it right as far as I can tell. So this is my Canon 24-70, but if it wasn't that, you could go in there and change it to something else, and or different manufacturers. It normally picks it up manually, but if not, you can just pick it up from there. If you don't find your lens in there, you could always go in there and just use these sliders to correct for the vignetting yourself and just eyeball it basically. You're also going to notice that it does a warping. It's got like a warping effect. That's also Lightroom correcting for imperfections within the lens. So you're sort of killing two birds with one stone. But now that you've removed the vignette, you may actually decide that this picture could actually benefit from having a vignette. So adding a vignette, I like to do that from the effects section. Again, within Lightroom, if you go to the effects module, you will see a slider in there where it allows you to slide to the left or to the right, and so you can add a dark vignette or a lighter vignette, and you can just play around basically to taste with this one. In this particular case, I'm just going to leave this one alone. I'm going to show you another one with, say, a portrait. This one does not have a vignette, okay, but I think it could actually benefit from one. So you will see that if I the eye gets sort of drawn to this area first because it is the brightest, but by introducing a vignette, and I'll exaggerate this to show you what I mean, you're going to notice that now her eyes seem to be the thing that you go to most. I'll show you a before and after, and you'll see that it does look better with the vignette. And that's often the cases with portraits. In this particular case, I've already got a vignette in there to draw the eye directly to my model. I've got one in here as well, as you can see. I've also used some objects that are in front of the lens here around the edges that naturally darken up and also form part of the vignette as well. So that's another way that you can enhance the vignette, just by putting blurry objects in front of it. You can see some blurry grass on all the corners there. This one here does not have a vignette, but it's something that potentially you could add to try and enhance the image. So we'll just put in just a tiny little bit in there, okay? And then if we do a before and after, you can see that I think it helps out personally. Now, when the vignette tool starts from the middle, and it just sort of it darkens from the outside towards the middle. But what happens if your subject is not in the middle? Then you could use there's a different tool that will help you do this. If you go up to the tools menu within Lightroom, you scroll down to Radial Filter. So that's the one that you want to select. And with this, you go and select your subject, okay? So you can drag and drop the tool, and you're selecting your subject, and you just leave in a little bit of space around there. And in this case, when you do that, you're going to notice that on the right hand side you're going to see all these sliders. Well, this works like an adjustment brush, but it will affect everything except what is inside of that circle. So that's a good way to also create a type of vignette as well. So if I bring down the exposure there, it brings the exposure down to everything else except my subject. Okay, so if I hit enter there and I show you the before and after, essentially what you have is a vignette, but it's now it's not in the center now, it's on top of my model. You can move this around afterwards if you need to as well. You can go in there and enhance it as well. But that is vignetting. As you can see, it can make a huge difference to your photo. It can enhance it. I think it can also ruin a photo. So if you know now how to get rid of it, then that's one way that potentially you can make your photo better by either removing it and then adding it back yourself if you think that it needs it. But ultimately, by getting rid of it first, it gives you back the creative control for you to make the determination whether it needs it or not. So as you can see, it's really easy to be able to remove, control, or even introduce some vignetting in a photograph when you feel the need to help the viewer guide their eye onto a particular part of the photograph. Now, before we go on, I wanted to remind you that if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. I make videos like this every week to help you with your photography, and it'd be great to have you as part of the channel. And don't forget to check out ministryoffphoto.com, where you'll find links to all of my videos, as well as blog articles and free resources that you can download, so make sure you check it out. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. If you have any questions or you need me to elaborate on anything, leave me a note in the comment section below. I'd be happy to get back to you. So that is all from me. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.